Hi, everyone. Welcome to the digital experience team. This is our sprint demo, sprint recording of what we worked on for the last 2-week period. Today is Thursday, March 10th, and we'll go over what we worked on. First up is Lauren.
All right, just came back from PTO and so light load and I shipped this solutions page. Super cool. We got this cool hover effect. That was fun. I actually got to build something. Next up is Nathan.
Oh, I forgot we're skipping Tyler. That caught me off guard. Yeah, unfortunately my sprint was a little messed up. Had a family emergency, so I was kind of out of office for 2 days and then distracted for another couple. But I've been mostly working on just like merging MRs. I don't have anything to demo today, but hopefully by the end of the week, I'm going to have the nav split. So I'm just working on creating that nav under slippers as a new project, and then it's going to get imported into dub and buyer experience. But yeah, nothing to demo for today. Laura?
Yeah, so last time I demoed the homepage that was almost ready to merge. So that got merged in, and with that came a couple of bugs that were pointed out by the SEO team. So I got those in this morning, and we'll keep our eyes out for any other issues that come up. And then I worked on a bug that Michael had found where the cookie banner, if you're in one of the regions that shows the cookie banner, the drift chat box is on top of the cookie banner, which makes it hard to dismiss the cookie banner. So I implemented a fix to slide that up a little bit if the cookie banner is present. And Tyler actually mentioned that we can do this through GTM, through Google Tag Manager. So that change is now been taken out of www and put in Google Tag Manager instead. And lastly, I created a placeholder resources page for when we're kind of ready to build out that page. But yeah, nothing to demo here either. All pretty vocal work. And next is Javi.
Thanks, Laura. This iteration, I worked on a couple of things. So first, I added the Gitlab Eslint plugin to our buyer's experience repository. So this should be an iteration to our Eslint tool. Secondly, I worked on trying to add Prettier to the buyer's experience repository that should be going out later today. I have an iteration with what's it called? Launch Darkly with passing query parameters, and I'm actually going to share my screen, contrary to the rest of the team after I figure this out. Here, share. Essentially, if you pass a query parameter, use test, control, you have different things here. So that's great is if you want to see different iterations of either the control or the experiment. And I'm also trying to set up a test experiment through Launch Darkly. I have some questions though that I'm still not really sure how we're going to do it, but we're going to figure it out. Up next is Megan.
Hello. In this iteration, worked on 2 placeholder pages. One was the Gitlab page, and the other was the pricing page. That's almost ready to get merged in. And lastly, I'll share my screen too. Worked on implementing a FAQ page schema into the buyer experience repository, specifically the topics pages. If someone authoring content adds in this specific like schema, a lot of schemas thrown around, schema in your YAML file for your schema, there's a function that now lives in a TypeScript file that will get consumed by our other TypeScript file that makes our the header pages. But at the end of the day, if Google likes what they see and actually crawls your page, this is what it should look like. We're testing it on one page right now, the DevOps page, not actually the CI/CD page. But I think it might take a few weeks to a few months, hopefully sooner than later. But keeping an eye on that, hopefully some of these results start showing up on the Googles. All right, that's all I got. Next up is Jess.
Thanks. I'm also going to share. Similarly to Nathan, had an unexpected short week, and I do have some things to share. So the navigation here, we're have a much larger navigation coming with our information architecture refresh. So we've kind of made it a little bit more complex, but also trying to keep it as simple as possible with these various kind of drop downs and then like sub tabs as needed. We also got support up here on kind of like a secondary navigation for search, login, register, and support. And then the other thing I did was a massive merge into our slippers design system. So Things like colors have been updated to match with the new brand guidelines we got last quarter. So the big one's color type now using Inter instead of Source Sans Pro. Everything's been updated, but I'm not going to go through each one individually. Just going to give you a quick brief sample. And then Tina, you're up next.
Thanks. Oh, I cannot, hold on a second. I'm on my new computer, so I can't seem to share my screen. So somebody skip me, I'll go after, and I'm gonna fix my preferences. Sorry about that.
Sure, I'll go. I have been working on our Y GitLab page. So I can, where is it? Share. So it's very low fidelity right now, but what we're working on is trying to tell a story through kind of like a long page format instead of just like throwing everything that we've done and accomplished at GitLab. We're just kind of trying to skim it down a little bit more. I've been working with our content team to kind of figure out what is best for this page. But yeah, that's it. And I'm also doing some research for our customer solutions pages. So yeah, that's about it. And I will throw it to, I think it was Dennis, but I know Dennis is new. So maybe to John.
Thanks, Carrie.
Mhm.
Okay, so so for this iteration, I work on the solutions education join page. It went from the last iteration. Yeah, I only did feedback this time. You can see we have the form, this new menu that Mateo did. And we have some little animations and the new FAQ section with 2 columns. We have only 1 column, so I changed it to 2 columns. Also, I work on the free trial page. I created a new tooltip generic component, so we can maybe move this component to sleepers or have it as a generic component. We have the form in this new tab and the FAQ also here. And also I work in the support page. So right now we have this content file that it has a lot of content. So in this case, I separated the YAML files in multiple files. So in this case, I created a YAML file, let's say, first time reaching support and support. I try to have a naming convention to separate the files. And for the next iteration, we are going to work on new designs by the UX team to improve this, the UI of these pages. And that's it for me. Next one is Mateo.
Okay, so for my side, I worked on a quick follow-up to update the styling for the top anchored navigation that we could see there a little bit on John's screen. I also worked on an update for the typography component that I discussed with Nathan for it to render the correct HTML tags instead of always rendering a span. And then most of my time during this iteration was working on the migration for the typography components, which was changing all the text in the app to use the new typography component. Sadly, there's nothing to show there because it's supposed to look the same as it did before. And after that, I started working on creating a new emphasis component for slippers. And that's it for me. Next one is Miguel.
Thanks, Mateo. Yeah, I think I'll share my screen. So yeah, for this iteration, I worked in the analyst page it's mostly ready, but we still have an update on content. We need to wait for it, but it's already implemented. Let me just show you how it looks. So here we also use the new menu developed by Mateo, and yeah, it's basically this. I think that I don't have the over effect Lauren has, but maybe I can implement it. But yeah, in the meantime, waiting for the content. Also, we decided to close this issue in our last UI to code meeting because it didn't add the value we expected as a standalone component in Slippers. So we decided to close it. And also, I created the placeholder landing page. At the beginning, I did more work that was needed because I was confused about this features page. So I started with a new design, which is actually this one, but it's not the features landing page. So it's a completely different page. But yeah, I have most of the work done. Some styling issues, and that it will be good for shipping. And yep, that's it from my part.
Want to go back to Tina? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna, yay. All right. So I had to shift some priorities. I had planned to work on the solutions template, but we were asked to do a mock-up of the homepage for the sales kickoff with the application of the new brand standards. So this is what I worked on instead. I'll just scroll down. I also took the opportunity to just like improve the layout a little bit. This isn't necessarily what our homepage is gonna look like because it was for a presentation, but it's can give us an idea of what it could look like with the new brand guidelines. Another thing that I worked on was last week I showed the new customer case studies page, and I just put together the mobile version. And here it is. Scroll to the bottom. And that's about it. I also had a request to update a bio image, which we don't need to show. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time.